Hey everybody, I have an observation that I'm just going to make. I realize I have a lot of teal. It's awesome because it's kind of an accidental nicety that's been brand for me. But I don't intentionally actually wear teal all the time. Today, all the way down to the toes, right? Crazy. Anyway, just a thought. All right. So today I want to talk about narration versus being an author and what the difference really is. And there is a difference. And if you ask me, which am I? Am I author or I'm going to go this way. Am I author or am I narrator? My answer to you is yes. And honestly, more than that, you are author, narrator, and you're playing a part in your story. Like main character, side characters are parts of you, right? Things like my fear, my depression. They're like little side people, my joy, little side people. They have side roles in your life, right? So work with me here. The difference, though, that I see between narration and authorship, subtle, and both are useful, so I want you to know what these roles are. We'll start with the author. This one's more obvious, right? When we talk about the narratives in our life that seem to control us, the rules underneath, and we've been digging to figure out what those are for you in particular. The thing about it is we did not author those. We did not write them. We did not make them up. They are not intellectual property of ours at all. And yet they have been huge parts of our life, right? Huge parts of our life. So I say this because what I'm trying to help you understand is that you can be, like grateful, notice, describe, and let go of these old rules if they don't serve you. You might not be grateful for them, but you might. Like they served their purpose, but they serve no other purpose going forward in your life. And then you're at the juxtaposition of authoring something brand new for yourself. That can be scary. The idea is a fascinating one that people get on board with right away in therapy a lot of times. Like, yeah, I'm gonna name my own stuff. I'm gonna make up my own rules. I don't aspire to this. My body needs to look like, a twig, and my hair needs to not be gray, and my face needs to not be I'm not buying that stuff. Because, as we talked about with implicit bias, some of how that rule affects us is literally in our DNA, which means it will take a hot minute to really switch completely over to a different way of thinking, and you might not get to it in this lifetime, but you sure as hell can change it significantly when you become the author in your own life. Okay, so that's authorship, and it's definitely a sexier thing to want to rewrite the narrative or rewrite the rules. Second one is the narrator, and the narrator has a little bit different role. But if you've ever, read a book with narration and then listen to it on audio, you notice the subtle differences of how you heard the voice of the narrator and how the person speaking the voice of the narrator is speaking. Correct? Subtle, but everybody puts their own little zhuzh on it. Everybody as a narrator, changes up the language, emphasizes one word over another, emphasizes one concept over another, might get high energy in their voice, might get low energy in their voice, and it changes the meaning. So it doesn't change what's been written. It's not the author, but the narrator has a really important role in how we look at things. And I find the narrator role as the one that's a bit of an easier in when you start to change up rules in your life and narratives in your life. When you start to discover that this underlying rule that I've been living with all my life does not serve me. So I'll go back to the old dead horse of mine, but women's bodies and how they're dictated that they should look in Western culture. I know that doesn't serve me, but I can't make my DNA not look in the mirror in the morning when I have no clothes on and go, la, 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 and that should be there. And 45 means like 2 inches lower is where my chest is, and so up. It's like 25, 45, 25, 45. It's good times. Anyway, nobody's going to make that stop being my automatic response except for me, and that's going to take a ton of time. So I can't completely reauthor this yet. I'm trying in little ways, but what I do is I narrate it differently. How do I narrate it differently? I look at something like that and I say, of course you would think that way. You've been taught that all your life. And I emphasize something else about myself. My belly looks that way because my kids came out of there. They're the best thing I ever did in this world yet. So, and maybe ever. Yeah, that's important. I'm going to narrate that side of it. I'm going to de-emphasize that my body doesn't fit some ideal that I never created. And I'm going to emphasize why my body looks the way it is and what I like about it. That's narration. It's a subtle difference between authorship and narration, how it affects our lives overall, like how it comes out on the other side. But I think that when I've taught clients in the past, this particular concept, what I'm really trying to help them understand is narration, you don't have to change the story yet. Kind of an easier in. Story can stay the same. Story is what it is. But you get to talk about it, think about it, emphasize it in a different way, with a different voice. Okay? There you go. It's the difference between being a new author in your life and being a new narrator in your life. And I hope that you find these two tricks to be something remarkable for yourself. All right, everybody, have a great day.